Do you ever feel like you fell under the spell of someone who is charming, charismatic, only to later discover they're manipulative in nature? I want to talk to you today about manipulative charm, how narcissists actually draw you in and then tear you apart. How narcissists will build you up and make you feel great and then tear you back down. This happens a lot in narcissistic abuse, and I want to be able to break it down for you today. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness about narcissistic abuse. What I do on a day-to-day basis is work on building systems and procedures and working with people one-on-one to actually break them out of narcissistic abuse. The mental and the emotional trauma, the mental and emotional bond, and the addiction piece that comes when you're in a toxic relationship, feeling like everything is dependent on that person. If you want to know how we do that or want to see some of the people that have come through our challenges, go to claritychallenge.net. One of the best ways to be able to break free from that narcissistic abuse and see how you can live in freedom versus the control that you've been put under for such a long period of time. When we talk about this manipulative charm, like there's almost like this magnetic pull to you from the narcissist. And it feels like it's just drawing you in. It's like sucking you in with the charm, with the charisma that's happening there. Narcissists have this great way of being able to showcase like this amazing personality that makes you feel like, wow, he's really something. Like he's really amazing. It's almost like it draws you in like a moth to a flame. It just kind of pulls you in like this is the light. This is the person I need to be with. This is the person I need to interact with. And oftentimes initially in the relationship, it's like irresistible. You're like, this is amazing. Best person ever. Best connection. Like I couldn't even duplicate this if I tried. Well, that's because you're not a narcissist. The narcissist duplicates what you actually want to see. So did you ever have like in the relationship where the narcissist is like, hey, like, what is it you're looking for in a relationship? And you're like, oh, this, and this. And he's like, oh my gosh, that's wild. I'm this, and this. And you're like, wow, it's amazing. We found two people that are like exact. I know, right? The narcissist will duplicate what you want and will bring it with this aspect of charm and charisma to make you feel like they're the most thing ever. And this might be where it comes from a state of confidence, where he looks amazing and confident in what he's saying, what he's doing, all these different pieces. Maybe there's different wit, and he's cracking these funny jokes that just connect with you. These like subtle things that like make you feel so connected to him. There's like these like smaller things or like things you share in between. And the charm ends up being really, really captivating. Like, this is amazing. This is the best thing ever. And this magnetic pull makes it easy for narcissists to slowly reel you in, slowly attract you, slowly capture the victims that they're trying to be able to capture. So a lot of times this charm is done because they're like, if I'm like this, people will run after me. If I'm like this, then she will love me. If I'm like this, then she will like me. If I'm like this, then I can control the situation and she keeps running after me. Okay, it's all like a play going back and forth. Think of it this way. Maybe you've met someone and he seems to just be like the exact person that you want. Seems amazing, seems great, like everything just seems to line up and he makes you feel special, understood, appreciated. Seems like he actually listens to you. Spend time talking and talking and talking all the time, not realizing that he doesn't bring up himself. That he doesn't talk about what's actually going on. He doesn't talk about deeper matters of like vulnerable or honest things, okay? But this piece of like focusing on you and focusing on the conversation starts to build this strong attraction that's really hard to resist. Now, sometimes you might be going through life and you're like, I think based on everything I've seen, that I think I found the perfect person. Like you might feel and you might tell your friends and family, like he's perfect. Like I found the right person finally. Like he checks all the boxes. And the hard thing is a narcissist checks all the boxes when you give them the test with the answer key. Like when you say, hey, this is what I want in a relationship, and he's like, yep, got that, got that, got that, got that. Check it all off because this is who I can be today, and let's go for it. Narcissists will do whatever they need to do to give you this illusion of perfection, like making you feel like they're your perfect partner, fulfilling your deepest desires, your needs, being there for you emotionally, all these things. This is why at the beginning of the relationship, it feels great. It feels connected. This is where people get stuck as they start to believe that that's the reality. And you start to believe that, oh, this is how he actually is. He just made some bad choices and that's why he cheated on me 5 times. No, like this is what is actually going on underneath the surface. Is narcissists excel at presenting themselves as being perfect. For me, I thought I was perfect. That's the lie that I believed. That's the lie that I told myself, but it's also the lie that I told everyone else. The lie that I told my wife of like, it's hard being with someone who's so perfect, right? As a joke, but slowly trying to make sure she understood I'm better than you. I'm great. Worship me. Follow after me. Do what I say because I'm so amazing, right? Because it all comes back to myself. Like this aspect of where narcissists sometimes will have this like perfect illusion of having an uncanny ability to understand your desires, understand your needs. Like it seems like they're like just connected with you on a level that you've never been connected with anyone. And it's because a lot of times they're very observant. And they're observing your needs, your wants, all these things. And then later on in the relationship, they're choosing not to give you those things. You know that because at the beginning, they gave you those things. And at the end, right before you walk away, they magically give you those things as well. It's not because they had amnesia in the middle of the relationship. No, it's because they stopped doing it because they didn't care and because it was just a facade to start off with. A lot of times when they're understanding, quote unquote, your needs or trying to fulfill your desires, it's mirroring them back to you. It's figuring out this is what she wants. Let me showcase this back. Let me interact back with this. And maybe it'll be what she wants. Maybe it'll connect there and then we can continue moving forward. This illusion makes you feel like you've found your ideal match. Like you've found the person where you meet him and he shares the same passions, he shares the same interests, you have the same like music tastes and like movie titles that you love, all these things. And it seems like it's fitting into your ideal partner. Like the criteria matches up. And he starts to give you all the attention, makes you believe that all your dreams are going to come true. Gives you the fairy tale aspect of this is where you want to go, this is who you'll be, and this is how you get there with this guy. And where it feels amazing. But then like those all talk about like the positive pieces, like building it up, feeling amazing, right? Many of you can identify with that. But then what happens? The unveiling, where stuff starts to change. The slow revelation of what is actually going on under the surface. You start to see the charm break down, the charisma start to build rust on it and fall apart. And as the relationship progresses, the narcissist slowly starts to reveal the true manipulative nature. And it causes a lot of emotional turmoil and a lot of frustration. Hard part is I talk to some people that get out of the relationship or the narcissist dumps them before the unveiling happens. This is one of the hardest pieces. And they're like, well, it was like a year of love bombing and then he left me for someone else. And I'm like, yeah, it shows you like how he actually cared, but you might have just been a transitional supply. Someone who was a means to an end for a short period of time, getting some supply, some validation from you till he secured the next target and moved on. That's one of the hardest ones to be able to break out of because you're stuck in that, like, it was amazing, it was great, because you don't have a whole lot of memories of it being bad. Because it was just him like giving you all this love bomb and affection and attention to try to make it seem amazing. The majority of time, though, we see the relationship slowly go forward and him change. Whether that is really quickly, like after wedding, after engagement, after moving in, or whether that's like a slow turn. A lot of times after a narcissist has drawn you in, it gradually starts to unveil like what is actually underneath, the manipulative side, the guilt tripping, the gaslighting, all the different pieces that confuse you and keep you stuck in the relationship. Like you might get to the place where he's controlling you, he's demanding, he's emotionally abusive, all those different pieces. And it becomes a stark contrast to what was initially there, that charm. Now, the hard part is you might be in a place where you told everybody else and you showcase your relationship thinking, this is amazing, he's perfect, he's great, he's exactly what I looked for, and you've been telling people this. Now as it slowly changes, you don't tell people that it's changing. It starts to be like, well, it's probably my fault because I came home tired. It's probably my fault because I didn't do something he asked me to do. It's probably my fault because he said it's my fault. And it starts to get to a place where you even start to put yourself in isolation. Kind of like the video that we had yesterday talking about isolation. Like all of this happens where you get to a place and you're struggling and you're confused. And you're like, wait a second. Like, how did he change so much? The thing you have to realize with a narcissist is he didn't change so much. He just is. You just now see him for what is actually real. You see him for what is actually true. You see the real version in front of you instead of the masked version. The love bombing, the attentive version that you fell in love with, that version doesn't exist. That's the hard part, breaking it down. So I think you might be with your partner who seem perfect, Starts off then slowly having this controlling behavior, starts belittling your choices, becoming emotionally abusive, and this contrast leaves you confused, leaves you questioning, leaves you bewildered, leaves you in this turmoil, and you're like, I don't know what to believe. That's the piece that I need you to understand. If you're stuck in the fog, if you're stuck in the confusion, if you're stuck in the frustration, it's time to break you out. To be able to understand the manipulative tactics, to be able to understand what's actually going on, to be able to understand how you break free is how you rewire your mindset to get away from the story that you believe to ultimately become the person that you're called to be. I want to help you doing that today, and that'll be going to claritychallenge.net. I put together a 45-day clarity challenge. We've been working with hundreds of people to refine it, added several tools. It's new and revised as of this recording to help you actually see how to break free of this and how to work through the emotional triggers that are happening on a daily basis. Because as you do this, it starts to help you process things and give you clarity about your situation so that it no longer keeps you in a fog and you're ultimately able to move forward and to be free. Go to claritychallenge.net today.